Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the second lecture of this series, Communication Skills, ENGL 1119. And this is about communication overview. My name is Lukman Shah. Now, this layout in this slide is indicative of the communication, and there are two entity, two person, or 2 points. Between these two, exchange of information is taking place, and one is sender and the other is receiver, and there is information and then exchange through any medium. So this process is called communication. The introduction to communication. Communication is derived from Latin word which means to share, to exchange, to transfer. Communication is always two-way process. This is not a single or one-way process. So it means that there will be a sender and there will be a receiver. Only sender and only receiver cannot compose a complete communication. And it is a process of exchanging meaning, facts, ideas, opinion, and information. Then it can be through verbal mode, it can be through non-verbal, the written, the spoken, signs, gestures, symbols, and a lot of other ways. This is called cycle of communication, and this is the complete mapping or outlining of communication. And starting from the left, there is a sender, and sender has some idea, some information, and sender is encoding the message. Encodes mean to convert the message, the abstraction, the thinking, the planning in our mind in any language. The language can be spoken, the language can be written, the language can be symbolic, and any other mode of this conversion. Then the sender will select a suitable channel or suitable medium, and through that medium, the medium can be verbal, the medium can be non-verbal. In verbal, the medium can be written, it can be in through channel of electronic media, print media, textual, SMS, fax, and any other mode. Then at the other end, there will be a receiver, and the receiver, after receiving the message from the sender, he will try to decode what is encoded at the end of the sender. The receiver will decode the message, and then he or she will understand the message, process the message, and if anything is required to send back to the sender, which is called feedback. So the receiver will send something which is desired or which is intended in this message to the sender. And if sender again want to send something to the receiver, so that is called possible additional feedback to the receiver. And this is ongoing process from sender to receiver and receiver to sender and then back. And this is called cycle of communication. Now, characteristics of communication. This is normally two-way process, and in it, the sending and receiving are simultaneously involved. Second, it is ever-going process. We can judge, we can find, we can sense communication everywhere. Even the creation of this world is due to communication. When there was nothing, and Allah Almighty communicated with this chaos, with this disorder, kun, then it is done in form of fayakun. And then Allah Almighty communicated His wisdom, His religion through prophets to messenger to the human beings. And this is ongoing process everywhere, each and every moment. We are receiving something, we are sending something. So this is a ever going process, and it is important in interpersonal, in organizational, in private, in professional, and in almost each and every aspects of life. And this is a dynamic process, this is ever changing. The communication which was in the communication which was in 19th century or in 18th century, that is developed and that is evolved. And this evolvement or development of the communication, this characteristics is called dynamic. Now, the objectives of any communication, definitely there would be a objective in any communication process. The first objective is information, to give, to receive, to send, to share information. That is the first objective of any communication. Second, the action, to persuade, to entice, to motivate the receiver on certain action. For example, what is your name? This is sent from sender. And what is there? The desired action or the persuasion for receiver. The receiver, after receiving this message should tell his or her name. And the proper feedback of this would be that my name is XYZ. Then relationship, no human relation is possible without this communication process. If there are two persons and they are never in interactive or in communicative process with each other, so their a relation will never be built up, in fact. And this is very important aspects of for socialization and for human relation building up. Communication is very important, and there would be a purpose in any communication. The purpose can be an order, instruction, request, report, direction, and etc. Then the solution, we communicate our problem with other, or other communicate problems with people, and they are seeking for a suitable solution. And then comes the education. Without effective communication, the importing of or the transferring of knowledge or educating the mob will be unable. And then the pleasure, we communicate for pleasure seeking, for happiness, for enjoyment. Now, what are the benefits of communication? If we can have the benefits of communication on personal level, if we are good communicator, we will have personal benefits. In professional life, good communicator always give benefits to their respective profession or their institute. Then organization, any organization which is good in this communication process or in communication area domain, then that communication, that organization will flourish and it will have a sort of expansion. Then at government level, there are a lot of issues, there are a lot of things which a government want to communicate with other country or with other government. If a government is efficient enough to communicate the things in the right manner, in appropriate manner, then country will have its own benefits, government will have its own. And in fact, the benefits of communication is everywhere. If there is good communication, there will be good benefits. Types of communication. First type of communication, communication can be formal, can be communication can be informal, it can be internal, and it can be external. Formal communication is normally done in legal matters, in official matters, and this is the proper way. And informal, this is a private communication, and which the communication is not well organized or well structured. When it comes to formal, so the communication will be patronized, structured, normally official, legal matters, and important matters are communicating through the formal way. Then internal and external. Within any institute, there will be communication. Within any family, within any setup, that is called internal. When one institute is communicating with others, so that is called external communication. Types of communication, the major categories of communication, this is divided in these two categories. The one is verbal and the second is non-verbal. Oral communication, which is included in verbal, that is spoken in form, and it is always done or carried out in an interpersonal manner or an interpersonal relation. It is very simple because we can adopt anywhere. If we are talking to a child, so we will adopt our oral spoken communication according to situation. If we are speaking with the elders, with a boss, with the employer, with any person, so we will adopt immediately our way of communication. So therefore it is called flexible and it is less formal. Normally the formal way, the official way, the legal matter is communicating through written, not verbal. So verbal is less formal. Then comes the written communication, which is included in verbal communication. Written, when it is the usage of word symbolically or any surface, it can be through text, through written form, through emails, through fax. And the advantage of this is that we can keep a permanent record of this written communication. The books which are written 1,000 years ago or 1 or 200 years ago, that is still with we people in physical form. So the record of this written communication is permanent. Then the level of difficulty when it comes to writing, so definitely it is a sort of structure communication, and we will need be of proper structure, observing the grammatical rules, and writing in error free manner. Methods of written communication that can be normally in a memo form, memorandum, which is called letter writing in any organization, the internal way. Then report writing, report about the systematic documents about anything or any field, that is called report. Then letters, that is also the written way of communication. Then applications, publication of any notice writing, and so much. So the methods of oral or spoken communication, it can be one to one. For example, I am talking to one another person, so one to one. It can be one to many. I am talking to the class, so that is one to many. Then there can be a group communication. There can be a communication in between community in spoken or in verbal oral way. Then technological, uh, on any Skype, Google Meet, or on telephone, we can carry out this oral communication. And then mass communication, communication in larger context or on larger level. Oral versus written communication, feedback in oral is immediate, while in written is delayed. And length is shorter in oral, length is longer in written. The focus in oral is personal, while in written is official and formal. The construction of oral is simple, where writing is a bit complex as compared to oral. The record of oral is not possible, and normally it is not carried out, where written definitely have its own evidence and have its own record. Elements of communication 5W and accompanied by an H. So who is communicator? To whom is that communication meant? What is the reason of communication? Is the content, or what are the contents? What is the place and how? What is the method? Written, spoken. These are normally included in any communication process. The styles of communication very important, in fact, when we are communicating. First is assertive or active style, which is the most wanted style, and everybody wants to achieve this assertive or active style. And then passive style, aggressive style, active aggressive, and passive aggressive. And then the method to recognize and understanding the style. And there will be a separate lecture on this styles of communication. So for now, it is sufficient that we have the nomenclature and names of these styles of communication. And then final thought about this communication. Communication is everywhere. We cannot deny the omnipresence of communication. And then communication is a lifeline. Without communication, even the existence of life cannot be perceived or conceived. And then communication is everything. So this is the end of my lecture. And if you had any question, you can